Hi, welcome to lesson number 2, unit number 7. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about some specific solar calendars. Okay, so the Egyptians were thought to have been the first people to adopt a solar calendar, and then the Romans in 45 BC, so many years later, adopted something called the Julian calendar. And this Julian calendar became the standard calendar that was used throughout Europe for a very long time. So there was a problem with this calendar in that there were 365 days according to the Julian calendar year, although there are actually a little bit more than 365 days in a solar year. So it takes a little bit more than 365 days for the sun to orbit, or rather for the Earth to orbit the sun. Okay, it takes about 365.24 days. So a little bit less than 365 and a quarter. So what the Julian calendar did, they decided to add an extra day every 4 years. Okay, so they tried to resolve this issue by adding an extra day every 4 years, and that would become a leap year. Okay, so most of Europe actually changed to the Gregorian calendar in 1582. The Gregorian calendar was very similar to the Julian calendar, but it was different in a couple of ways. Well, first of all, the reasons it was adopted or taken on by the Pope, by the Catholic Church, was that this calendar followed the Christian holidays more accurately. So specifically, Easter would have fallen on the same day as the historical Easter, or the historical resurrection of Jesus Christ according to the Catholic Church. All right. It also helped solve one problem in regards to the Julian calendar and leap years. Okay, because as I said, it takes 365.24 days for the Earth to orbit the Sun. So if we have a leap year every 4 years, eventually the days will become out of whack. So eventually we'll actually be adding too much time to our years. Gets a little bit complicated, but I've embedded a video onto this page, so after you watch this video, you can feel free to watch that other video, and that video will tell you exactly how the mathematical calculations work for leap years and for the Gregorian calendar, so how they work for us today, because we today actually use the Gregorian calendar. Okay. I've actually provided you with 2 videos, so you can watch this one shorter video if you don't have time to watch the other video that I've embedded, and this will give you a general idea of how leap years work with the Gregorian calendar. Okay, but I actually recommend, if you have time, to take the time to watch the other video that I've embedded, because it's quite interesting actually. Okay, so as I said, the Gregorian calendar is the one that we use today, and the dates with this calendar, because it's a Christian calendar, they're divided into BC and AD. Alright, the year 1, according to the Gregorian calendar, was the year that Jesus Christ, the historical Jesus Christ, was born, according to the Catholic Church. Okay, so again, the Catholic Church, they believe that Jesus Christ was a real person and that he was born on what the Gregorian calendar says is year 1. Okay, so according to this calendar, time is divided into BC and AD. BC being before Christ, okay, and AD meaning Anno Domini, which is a Latin term for in the year of our Lord. So please note that there is no year 0. The calendar starts at year 1 for all the AD dates. Alright, and BC is before Christ, so before what the Catholic Church thought was the year of the birth of Jesus Christ. Right? So for instance, 500 BC would have been 500 years before the historical Jesus Christ was born, again according to the Catholic Church. And the year 500 AD would have been 500 years after Jesus Christ was born. All right. There's a common misconception among some people that AD stands for after death, and that they start year 1 on the date of the death of Jesus Christ, which is not true. Anno Domini stands for in the year of our Lord, so don't get that confused. In the year of our Lord meaning after the birth of Jesus Christ. Okay. One more thing I want to mention here is that because we're not all Christians, okay, although most of the world uses this calendar, of course most of the world are not Christians, okay? So instead of saying BC AD, which are Christian terms, we use BCE instead of BC for before Common Era, and we use CE for Common Era instead of AD. So if you ever hear or see BCE, that means before Common Era. It's the exact same thing as BC. If you see CE, stands for Common Era, it means the exact same thing as AD. Alright, so that's all I want to cover in this lesson. Okay, so thank you for listening.